Now at 6, talking about a lot of wind taking a big chunk out of small and getting smaller temperatures. The forecast on the way next.
A Groton police officer with a lot to be thankful for in the new year, surviving an accident on the job with a drunk driver. I'm Matt Karen reporting. I'll tell you why her actions immediately following the crash are being commended by her department.
And there's a meeting happening in Southington today to talk about the future of the town's fire. The details on that and what potential cuts could be on the line coming up.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
All right, we are off and running. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Fox 61 and for all of you streaming on Fox 61 Plus. I'm Tim Lammers.
And I'm Keith McGill. Nice to be with you, Tim.
A pleasure, sir.
Yeah, and you folks at home, we're kicking off a brand new week of the year, and the story of the morning is the wind. Fox 61 meteorologist Matt Scott joining us with these details. Hold on to your hat.
Hold on to your hats, hold on to your wheels this morning, especially this afternoon, because the wind gusts are going to be kicking up there. Even if there isn't a big, significant, steady wind, it's those wind gusts that are going to be awfully blustery later on today. Couple that with some colder temperatures taking over, you're going to get a real feel of winter over the next few days. We'll also talk about some near-miss storms trying to work their way, especially just south of us. We'll talk about that coming up. A little bit of lake effects now holding together through the Catskills. We'll watch to see if any of those flakes make it up into the Litchfield Hills. Right now, we're not concerned about that. Not concerned about the temperatures. They're actually quite warm for January 2nd. They're running in line with where the highs should be. 37 in Hartford, 41 in New Haven, 37 in Groton. But here's your story. You've got sustained winds, 15, 17, 18 mile an hour out of the west, becoming northwesterly. A wind advisory, though, in effect for the wind gusts, upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour later on today. That could be trouble. So your real feel's down to the low 20s in some parts of the state and staying there throughout much of the afternoon. So dress accordingly. Cloudy skies out there now. Winds later on. Again, 9 and 3 on the wheel. Hold on to your hats because you're going to need it. Temperatures, though, at the very least, they're not terrible, getting into the lower 40s later on today. Dress for near freezing at best, however. Coming up, we'll talk about those small numbers on the thermometer. They are getting smaller. Does that lead to any trouble with some snow? We'll see for that coming up in the 7-day. Rachel Piscatelli, Happy New Year to you on this January 2nd. I didn't see you yesterday.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I didn't see you yesterday. Well, you weren't here. I
was here in spirit.
Yeah, all right. 6:03 right now. Not better. No, I'm just kidding. Overall, looking pretty good. 91 and 95 look good this morning. No major delays to tell you about at this hour. 84 both directions out by 46 and 45 look good. We do have some volume starting to pick up as you're traveling into downtown. Not causing any issues. New Britain out to the Hartford Tunnel is 5 minutes. Tim.
Rachel, thank you. All right, in New Orleans, the FBI said it was a U.S.-born man, an Army veteran, who slammed a truck into a crowd of people in New Orleans in the French Quarter yesterday morning. But they said a terrorist flag was flying from the back of that truck. They said 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar intentionally sped right through some New Year's celebrations on Bourbon Street before they said he crashed the truck, got out of the truck, and then shot 2 police officers before they shot and killed him. As of this morning, 15 people have died, including Jabbar, and over 30 more were hurt, including those 2 officers who are both stable this morning. The FBI said they're trying to see if Jabbar was associated with any terrorist organizations because that truck had an ISIS flag flying from the back of it. The FBI also said they found guns and pipe bombs inside the truck, and they said they don't think Jabbar acted alone. For more on Jabbar, the FBI said he was served in both the Army and Army Reserves. Yesterday, police swarmed a home in Houston, Texas, which may be where Jabbar lived. People who live nearby said it's a rental property. Police asked neighbors in the area to leave while they search that property, and at last check, that search is still going on and is expected to last throughout the morning. We did hear yesterday from one man who said he knew Jabbar years ago.
I would not categorize him as being a Muslim extremist at that time when I knew him. Not at all. I think sometime between when I knew him and now, he got radicalized.
Now, public records show Jabbar was still an active U.S. citizen who voted in the 2020 presidential election.
And Tim, just hours after the attack in New Orleans, a Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel. The person inside the truck died. 7 people nearby were hurt. Police say the truck was packed with fireworks, mortars, and camp fuel canisters. Investigators say the truck was rented through the Turo app. That's the same app police say was used to rent the truck used in the New Orleans attack. Authorities say they are looking into if the incidents in Las Vegas and New Orleans are connected. A person familiar with the matter says law enforcement officials have not ruled out terrorism as a possible motive. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says his team is also investigating. We obviously will update you on both of these stories as we learn more this morning. 6:05 happening today. The Southington Board of Fire Commissioners will meet to discuss potential budget changes that have some firefighters concerned.
Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is live in Southington with those details. Lindsay, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, that meeting is set for 5:30 tonight, and it is open to the public for anyone to come and give their thoughts and opinions on the matter. Now, town firefighters are concerned with these potential changes going into effect and say that it could put the lives of first responders at an even greater risk. Now, town leaders are weighing different options moving forward, but those options include budget cuts, especially when it comes to spending, including overtime costs. Some firefighters worry these changes will close one of the town's fire stations when there's already a shortage of firefighters. This meeting comes after 2 firefighters narrowly escaped a house fire the day after Christmas. The first responders became disoriented trying to fight a fire on Howard Avenue. They had to call a mayday with no available backup outside the building. Firefighters say that should be alarming to the board and the town, especially as cuts are potentially on the table while the department is already understaffed.
My plea would be to not reduce services. This is going to put the public at risk. This is going to put my firefighters at risk. It's dangerous. We almost killed 2 people the other morning. This is your wake-up call.
Now, the council chair issued a statement last week saying that the board is looking forward to collaborating with the fire department, and they did have a message for residents saying they will ensure safety moving forward with a responsible budget. Now, that meeting again is set for 5:30 tonight. Live in Southington this morning, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Lindsay. We will see you at 7 o'clock. Terrifying moments for a police officer in Groton after the department says she was hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah, this happened back on New Year's Eve. Fox 61's Matt Caron went down to Groton to find out why that officer's actions are being commended by your colleagues.
Well, let's start with the most important information. Everyone will be okay. Now, the officer was injured, but her colleagues tell me despite those injuries, the first thing she did was make sure the other driver was okay. It was just before 8 p.m., New Year's Eve, in the quaint Mystic section of Groton. 4 hours until the ball drop.
It was a fairly low-key night.
Until it wasn't. Groton police showed Fox 61 the totaled patrol vehicle.
Thankfully, it's just minor injury. It appears to be mostly due to airbag deployment.
A female Groton police officer with just 2 years on the job had just wrapped up a routine traffic stop in the area of School Street when all of a sudden a vehicle driving on the wrong side of Noank Road hit a curb.
Continued to travel over the portion of the sidewalk and impacted the front passenger portion of her car.
Groton police estimate the suspect's 2016 Jeep Compass SUV was going about 40 miles an hour when it collided with the front of the officer's cruiser, causing the airbags to deploy.
She obviously is startled and gets out of the cruiser. Her immediate thought is, what is the well-being of this other driver?
That driver, identified as 25-year-old Porter of Waterford, said she was coming from work, but was exhibiting signs she was drunk.
They put her through a battery of field sobriety tests, which she failed.
Groton police showed us those tests. Follow the tip of the object.
Like right now, your eyes just follow as I move my hand or my finger.
Walk heel to toe.
When you get to the 9th step, you're just going to take a series of smaller steps to turn around.
Balance and count.
You're going to count 1,001, 1,002, 1,003 until you get to 1,030.
And eventually do the breath test.
And then I would ask you to blow, you'd blow into it. It would prompt me when you have met that threshold, that minimum threshold. And I'll use the plastic to peel it off again. And then it'll generate a result.
Police say Kara Porter blew over .20, more than twice the legal limit.
Have a friend, have an Uber. I mean, there's so many options nowadays to be safe and not be reckless.
Care Porter is charged with DUI and other traffic offenses. Police say she admitted to using her phone while driving. Police say she posted bail and will be arraigned sometime in January. The injured officer is taking some time off to rest and recover. Reporting in Groton, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And Matt, thank you. Now we have some breaking news from the overnight. We've learned at least 10 people were hurt in a nightclub shooting in Queens, New York. The NYPD said close to 100 people were inside an event center when it became crowded. They said a group of people then walked outside where they were met by 4 people with guns, 4 men who opened fire. Now, 10 people were rushed to the hospital. At this point, we know all are at least expected to survive. Police said these suspected shooters were last seen getting into a car a few blocks away. And it's important to note officers say they do not believe this was any kind of terrorist attack.